Can I prove it? Can I prove this scripture was not completely fulfilled in the person of Antiochus during Hanukkah in 135 BCE? The answer is yes, I can. Go down to verse 17. Daniel 8, verse 17. Tadarabayahu. So he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid, and I was saying, "Yo, Gabe, what's up, man? I don't understand all this." Now, some of you reading today, I might as well be doing a crossword puzzle in front of Kmart. That's because we are sorely lacking in prophetic understanding. Turn to your neighbor and say, sorely lacking. When you're sorely lacking, you're lacking sorely. Can I hear a good amen? So Daniel didn't know what this meant, just like many prophecy students today don't know what this means. He fell on his face and he said, "Understand, O son of man." Gabriel, the Malach, Gabriel said to Daniel, "Son of man, this vision of the four pads and the four wings from coming out of the leopard, who comes out of the bear, who comes out of the lion, they come out of each other. If they come out of each other, they must come out of the same landmass and the same geographic area. Not one of the four beasts of Daniel chapter 7 can come out of Europe or the USA. They come out one of another. Babylon swallowed the Medes, the Greeks swallowed the Medes, and the Roman Islamists swallowed the Greeks. And that was an amalgamation between Rome and between Islam, because Constantinople was the capital of the Byzantine Empire, or the Catholic doctrine, and later it became Istanbul. That is the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire. But notice, look at the end of verse 17. Daniel, this vision will not be fulfilled until the time of the what? End. Notice. So this couldn't have been completely fulfilled at the time of Hanukkah. It was historically and partially fulfilled at the time of Hanukkah. But it will be completely fulfilled when? Then, when? Then at the time of the end. Can I hear a good amen? So, we haven't come to the end of the age because Yeshua has not returned. So, Antiochus Epiphanes is merely a type of the anti-Moshiach coming in the latter days from the same place and the same area, southeast into the pleasant land. I said southeast. So the confirmations of Yeshua's words are found in Daniel. By the way, there's a proof that we're not going to be raptured before the Great Tribulation. Because Yeshua in Matthew 24, speaking in a clear tribulation context and in a clear tribulation text, says, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, he that reads Daniel, don't just read like you're reading Alice in Wonderland, read for understanding and insight. And he says, when you read Daniel, meaning when you see the abomination of desolation, Matthew 24:15, and you see him standing where he has no business standing, where he ought not to stand, then do such and such and such and such, right? Do so and so and so and so. Well, hold it. Is he talking to unbelievers or believers? He's talking to believers. He's talking to the disciples who came to him privately and saying, Master, when shall these things be, and what shall be the end of the age? He's not talking to unsaved Jews. The elect are always believers. And he says, when you believers are reading the book of Daniel, well, if we're raptured to heaven in a pre-tribulation rapture, I'm going to leave Daniel behind. I don't need Daniel, I got Yeshua. I don't need to be reading anything, because I'm in the presence of the one who gave the word of Yahweh to Daniel. We're not going to be reading the book of Daniel when we're in heaven. Do you understand what I'm saying? The only place we need to read the book of Daniel to understand the times and the seasons and the events is while we're still stuck here on earth. There goes your pre-tribulation rapture. Doesn't exist. Because during the Great Tribulation, we're going to need the book of Daniel. If you don't think you need the book of Daniel now, you believe me, when the Great Tribulation comes and we're at the dawn, we're at the brink of the Great Tribulation, You are going to need every verse in the book of Daniel, somebody. Todah Rabah Yahweh. I said, Baruch Hashem Yahweh. We must follow Yeshua's instructions carefully. The abomination of desolation is described by Daniel in Matityahu 24:15. The end-time abomination is given in an eschatological context, meaning in connection to the end times, Daniel 8:17. In regard, in connection to second coming events, Daniel 8:17. The precise expression abomination of desolation occurs elsewhere in Daniel 11:31. Go with me to Daniel 11:31. Is anyone enjoying? I said, is anyone enjoying? I feel no sorrow, I feel no pain. Welcome back, Mordechai. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. You ready to dig in? Huh? Go ahead, dig in with me, brother. Daniel 11:31. Good to have you with us. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Forces shall be mustered by him, and they shall pollute the Kadosh place of strength, and will take away the daily sacrifice, and they, meaning the end-time beast, will set up the abomination that makes desolate. This is a dual prophecy. Antiochus Epiphanes performed this, and he will, the end-time Islamic anti-Mashiach, Daniel's little horn, Daniel 8:9, will also commit the same abomination in the same place, because Daniel 8:17 says, when will the last abomination take place? At the time of the end. Did it take place at the time of Hanukkah? Yes. Will it take place again? Yes. When will it take place again? At the time of the end. Then it was by Antiochus Epiphanes. This time it'll be by the one representing the crescent deity Allah. The Islamic anti-Moshiach from the land of Babylon, formerly Babylon. And today, brothers and sisters, Babylon includes Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia. It's all part of Babylon, of Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. Todah Rabah Yahweh. Now we go to Daniel 9:27, same thing. Daniel 12:11, the sacrifices will stop. The Islamic anti-Mashiach will commit the abomination of desolation. Daniel 9:27, we see the same thing. He will confirm the Brit with many for 1 week. What's 1 week? 7 years. In the middle of the 7 years, he will cause the sacrifice and the offering to what? Cease. On the wing or the corner of abominations will be the one who makes desolate. Notice. So Daniel 9:27 says, in the end times, the one who causes the last and final abomination of desolation will do it on the wings of the Temple Mount. What is the Hebrew word for wings? Kanaf, or kanafot, the wings. Today, the Al-Aqsa Mosque is on the southwest kanaf, the southwest wing of the very Temple Mount that Antiochus desecrated in the days of Hanukkah. The Islamic anti-Mashiach will walk into the wings of the Temple Mount, and he will commit the abomination not just anywhere, but he will commit it in the wings, which is exactly where the Al-Aqsa Mosque is today, on the wing of the Temple Mount, or the southwest corner. But see, he's not content with just doing it there. It starts in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, but what does the word of Yahweh say in Daniel 9:27? It what? You with me, Mordechai? It what? Spreads. To where? To where the Holy of Holies is. To where the rebuilt temple is. To where the rebuilt altar is. And the altar will be defiled again in the end times, Daniel 8:17, as it was in the days of Hanukkah, somebody. I need fuel. Can I hear a good amen? Amen. Give me some fuel. It's been a rough week. Give me some fuel. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So to summarize, Daniel describes a final evil ruler, Daniel 11:15, king of the north, but I'm not done. I thought I was done, but I'm not done. Look at Daniel 9:27. He takes the abomination, he causes the sacrifice in the rebuilt temple and altar to cease. he starts the abomination on the wing of the Temple Mount. It's the wing of abomination. But then the one who makes desolate, continue. It says, on the wing he will be the one who makes desolate, even to a complete end of the age, the end of the Olam Hazeh, which shall be determined. So in other words, he walks into the Al-Aqsa Mosque and says, the peace is over. I am the representative of Allah. He pronounces the Shahida. The Shahida is, there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad, his prophet. That is the Shahida. That was the last words on Saddam Hussein's death before he fell into a trapdoor and he was beheaded. It is the last words, like the Shema is to Israel, the Shahida is to Islam. And he says, no, I'm not a man of peace. Yes, you Israelis took your vacations in Turkey. Yes, you vacationed in the Mediterranean. Yes, we had diplomatic relations unlike any other Muslim state. But now we are heading the revived Islamic Caliphate, the deadly beast whose wound was miraculously healed. The Ottoman Empire, the last world empire to control Jerusalem, has come back to destroy you because the beast that you thought was dead splintered into over 20 Islamic nations, 50 if you count Africa, ain't dead, we're alive. And now we're not just here to commit the abomination of desolation. We come from the same area that Antiochus came from, but Antiochus' son and Antiochus repented of what they did to you. We're not going to repent. We're here to wipe you out. We're here to destroy you once and for all. And what banner, what flag is he coming in, Dr. Maria? Daniel's little horn. The same area that Antiochus came from. But he came in the name of Zeus. This one comes in the name of the crescent moon. And the crescent moon is the universal symbol of Islam, which is submission to the moon deity, Allah. Who is Allah? Do some homework. In the Kaaba in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, Muhammad found 360 pagan deities. And Allah allegedly told Muhammad that Allah is the Lord of this house. Get rid of the others. There's too much competition. So Allah got rid of all the other pagan deities and he let nice little Allah stand. And that became Allah's house. Because the other 364 were thrown out and destroyed by Muhammad. That's how Allah got started. In that religion, you can say anything about Allah and they will not cut your head off. Some of you don't know this because you listen to the media instead of studying with scholars. You can say anything against Allah and they'll leave you alone. Or try saying something against the Muslim prophet Muhammad. Now try it. That's where you lose your neck. Now you explain to me a religion where I can curse your God and call him anything I want and get away with it. But the flesh and blood who represents the God, I'm dead if I say anything about him. Is there something wrong with this picture? You think there's something wrong with this picture? In true biblical faith, it's just the opposite. You can say anything about another human being and probably get away with it. But if you blaspheme the Ruach HaKodesh, there's no forgiveness in this life or the next life. That's a true religion. But we cannot blaspheme the Ruach HaKodesh. Can I hear a good amen? So Daniel describes a final evil ruler, an Islamic anti-Mashiach. And another reason I know that the account of Hanukkah and Antiochus Epiphanes causing the historical abomination of desolation when he put Zeus on the altar and he sacrificed a pig on the altar and he forbid Shabbat and Moadim and Kashrut and Brit Milah, and anyone who practiced Torah would be instantly put to death, as we read in 1st and 2nd Maccabees. Another way I know that there is another Islamic abomination of desolation that is to come is because if you look at the end of verse 27, it says that the end of the abomination will be with a what? A flood. You know how Yahweh destroys the Islamic anti-Messiah? The same way he destroyed the world in the days of Noah, with a flood. A flood will end the abomination of desolation. Isn't that how Yahweh cleansed the earth in the days of Noah? He cleansed it with the cleansing waters of judgment, somebody. And Antiochus was killed and defeated by the Maccabees, not by a flood. Todah by Yahweh. What are the current events around us? Now here's what you got to understand, because if you don't understand the mystery of abomination, you cannot understand the abomination of desolation itself. Here's the mystery that most Bible believers do not grasp because their teachers do not grasp it. You ready? Everybody's looking for the abomination of desolation. And just like Hanukkah, it's already here. All the anti-Mashiach does is he takes it from the wing of abomination. Right now it's just in the wing. Why? Because the temple's not rebuilt. The altar's not rededicated to Yahweh. Allah is on that mountain. The abomination of desolation exists now! So what does anti-Mashiach do? He goes to the corner. He takes that abomination that's limited to the southwest corner or to the wings, and he what? Spreads it, and Yahweh goes, spread it, honey, but I'm going to take it away with a flood. Antiochus was never taken away with a flood. He was taken away with the victory of the Maccabees. This is another abomination of desolation. Same place, same time, similar circumstance, coming from the same area of Turkey. We'll have a lot more to talk about as we continue. The abomination of desolation currently exists on the wings of abomination. They refuse to make any attempt or allow any attempt to establish a Jewish presence on the mount. Are you Jewish? Are you Christian? You're better off when it comes to going up the Temple Mount and praying, because you're a turista, and cuando tú es turista, cuando you buscar por dinero, no problema, no. But try being a Jew and going up to pray. You'll have stones, you'll be spit at, and probably killed if you're a Jew. Allah is not sharing that mountain with anybody until the flood of Yahweh comes. This time it's not going to be the Maccabees. This time it's going to be the Ruach HaKodesh, symbolized by the flood, the water, when Yahweh sends judgment on the abomination and says, not only are you not going to spread it, I'm going to eliminate it by the flood of judgment. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. They don't want any Jewish presence on the Temple Mount. So the stage is now set for the end-time Islamic anti-Mashiach from Turkey to enter the Muslim complex of shrines. Do you realize it's a complex right now out there? It's just not just the wings and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And by the way, what are the Palestinian terrorists called? The Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade. You know what I found out? Can we talk? Can we talk? You know what I found out yesterday listening to Michael Savage? Remember that chick, remember that reporter? Remember that reporter Ashley Banfield? She used to work for MSNBC and she used to do a lot of Middle East reporting with the glasses, Ashley Banfield. She just disappeared. And the next thing I know, she shows up on Court TV. Now she's a correspondent. You can see her. Ashley Banfield. You know why she got fired from MSNBC? Because she was such a Jew hater that at night she used to go on terrorist missions with the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade and watch them do jihad against innocent Jewish